it's like everything has to be a 10 out of 10 or it's a failure or it's a disappointment. It's like I think we should be more accepting of stuff going into the market that's like good and you want to see more of it, and maybe one day they'll have a masterpiece out of it, but like it's okay to have a series that's like starting out just, you know,
Agreed. I think
that's like
I
good
think that's
quality.
one of the biggest things that we lost kind of in the transition between the PS3 and the PS4 generation, where like games that come out now, like they have to be freaking amazing in every way, and they have to be like all things for everybody.
Yeah, I think in the span of 1 year we've had like 10 games that just tries to be themselves, and it's actually working out in its favor. um like a lot of it is of course from Capcom, like Monster Hunter World and stuff. Like
Same.
the games
Capcom has
are
been crushing it.
unapologetically itself, and
Yeah.
it works because like they know, like, and that's the thing about Capcom though, like they understand the value in games that speaks to the fan base to the extreme. So it's
Mm.
like maybe it's not going to be God of War, right? It's never going to have God of War quality and storytelling and gameplay, but their idea is, why not just cater to our fans? Because our fans are going to love it, they're going to appreciate it, and the word is going to get out there, and people's going to be like, if you want this style of game, you know, Capcom is the master of making this kind of game, stuff like that.
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah. And it's like it's something I've been noticing, but especially with like the Resident Evil 2 remake, which I mean, I just keep sucking that game's dick because it's amazing, dude. But
it is.
fucking like, it just blows my mind how people don't understand what survival horror needs to be, and I feel like Capcom finally hit like that perfect balance where the controls are comfortable to the point where you feel like a capable, you know, character in this bleak situation, but at the same time, they did this revolutionary thing where zombies are fucking durable.
I kind of change the subject, but like regarding Resident Evil 2, is like I feel like there's like a lost art that Capcom just knows, that I think I spoke about before, in which like they just know how to make a short game work. Like they know the art of making what it means to make a short game, but why it's important to make your single player games this like quick experiences. But like it works because a lot of people never finish their game, but a lot of people are now going to finish Capcom games because they're just like, say I only have 3 hours from work every day. That's enough to finish a Capcom game in a week,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's no filler. Like they get all of what they want from it from
That's
that one
huge. Yeah,
play
there's
session.
no filler. Whereas like playing, AC Odyssey after coming home from work, sure, there's going to be people that are into it, but there's going to be people that are starting to actually get tired. There's legitimately threads of people who are like, this game is just tiring me out, dude. And it's like, yeah, it's not supposed to be like that. Like, it's not supposed to be tiring in this fucking long drawn out fashion. Like, if anything, a game can be tiring in the way that like Bloodborne is tiring, or the way that like The Last of Us on Grounded or Hard is tiring, right? That makes sense because you're actually like putting in energy to get better, and it's understandable and it's reasonable that like, oh, after a tough like short section, you gotta like take a rest. And with something like Odyssey, like you're just tired because it's fucking like endurance. Like it's a war of attrition, and it doesn't even matter like the approach you take. Like the numbers are just gonna go up, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, like I mean, I look at Sekiro, I'm just like, Ubisoft developers is always like, yeah, now you can go do this stealthily or in combat. And it's like all the like, I think Sif brought up a good point where like we're always talking about other games and how like Assassin's Creed doesn't do it or they don't do it as well or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
But like it's kind of true. Like you look at this game, you're like, this thing game is doing this so well. Assassin's Creed promises it, but they don't do it.
It's insane, dude. Like I notice it like all the time. It's ridiculous. I just I don't know. Like I don't know what they're doing and what they're hoping for, but I know that I'm getting the experiences I want with like other games that are doing stuff that I am looking for, and it's like covering things that AC used to cover for me. I'm
One of my favorite tweets by Six Keys is like, if you remember that game, well, of course you do, right? That Ghost of Tsushima, where it's like,
oh
they
yeah.
don't give their horses name because that's not a tradition. That's like a Western tradition more than a Japanese thing. And it's like, and then meanwhile in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it's like, hey, you want to fucking fight a Minotaur? And it's like, you can see the difference in like
Right. Yeah.
passion right there.
Like there's one that's like it's a curated experience. It's a world. It's like it truly creates like another realm for you to step into. And then like Assassin's Creed is just like cookie clicker descendant. where it's all about like clicking buttons and like making numbers go up, and you don't really have to do much to make the numbers go up. Honestly, playing something like Unity after that, it just hammered home what a difference in game design philosophy it is.
It really, like, I remember trying to play Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and it did really feel refreshing going to Syndicate from Origins and Odyssey. But
Yeah.
like at the same time, like I guess I've just gotten so tired of these long stretching open road games that like I need a game that's just tight and no filler and just in it because like I'm tired of like, oh, I have to go from checkpoint A to B, so like travel halfway across the map to talk to this NPC, and
Yeah,
then I'm
oh,
put in
what
this
the
mission
fuck,
where I have
dude?
to ride this cargo across this other map for 2 minutes. It's like it's boring, and now it's like, well, I play Resident Evil 2, the other day, and I'm just like, this is fucking amazing. Like I'm just going from like literally just going from room to room. It
Is
has
like,
so much.
yeah, and it's like literally everything you do matters, because if you fired that bullet a few steps back, well, that increased the chances that X is gonna try to give it to you. And
Yeah,
like if you use a flashbang here, like then maybe you won't have it against the swarm of zombies, and then it's like you can use your knife to like poke and like check zombies for if they're actually dead or not, because zombies actually have random HP values, and like, well, not random, but different zombies in the game have different HP values. They're exactly the same from run to run for that specific zombie. So for example, the vending machine zombie will have the same HP every run, but his HP will
hmm
differ from other zombies in the game. So like, imagine that. Every single enemy
yeah.
character in the game has its own health bar. It's not like standardized, and that's what lets them like pace things better, because by controlling how much health enemies have and controlling how much ammo you get, it's like they can create exactly the challenge they want. And it's, oh god, it's fucking amazing, dude. I need to get that game.
Oh, you don't have it yet?
I do not. I just played the demo and I borrowed it for a few days from a buddy, but he wanted it back.
Ah, yeah. Like
And
you,
I've been watching a
it's
bunch of
such a
car C runs.
um, yeah. It's like, but again, like that's another thing too, right? Like I think so many people wants to sit down and watch um runs of this or that for Resident Evil. Like you go on like for you look at Devil May Cry, it's like everyone is going online looking like this guy fighting Virgil with this mechanic or like with this handicap or this mode. And it's like Resident Evil is like there's so many playthrough people are watching of like doing this and that. And it's like I think Assassin's Creed before had such a good way to like do that where it's like 100% sync on this mission
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that, but they took away like the value of challenges without fixing what the problem really was.
Exactly. And what's even worse is that, starting with like Origins and continuing to Odyssey, they like removed the mission replay feature, which I think is really massive, and something that, you know, made the games like much more worthwhile. Like than like I'm fucking sad that my mission replay is gone, dude. Like that was one of my favorite features, and it's not even like an actual mechanic or anything. It's like this meta feature that is, it's not even really quote unquote part of the gameplay, and yet it was so critical and so important to me and a lot of people like me. Like it sucks that it's gone. And then like being able to replay any mission I want in DMC, like that's fucking awesome.
Like I know to some people it's like, oh, this is just a small feature or it's a feature I never use because I'm always replaying the game, but like I don't think they understand like for me like maybe it's a feature I personally didn't use too much, but like because I mostly did like when I replay the game it's mostly Unity and playing the co-op missions, but like if Assassin's Creed was a tighter, more precise experience, fuck, I'll be replaying a lot of missions over and over and over and over again.
Yeah,
Like
because
you
they're
are.
like specific scenarios, and there's like it tests like different things, right?
Yeah, it's like, and then like actually I remember replaying a lot of missions in the older Assassin's Creed like Brotherhood, where it's like, even Assassin's Creed 1, Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed 2 didn't have it, but I don't think there would have been a lot I wanted to play. Revelations, like mission replay was, in my opinion, a vital part of the experience. I think where we're at now is just like with the later games. I think honestly with Assassin's Creed 3 and stuff, excuse me, the quality of the missions and the gameplay just wasn't there. That's why I didn't want to replay it. And then moving from Origins forward, it just kind of sucks that you can't. Like,
Yeah.
you're just kind of accepting it.
That's why, like, literally, Treviso and I, we have, like, folders full of, like, save files that we just, like, dragged and dropped from our fucking Uplay folder. And it's like organizing them with, like, freaking binders, like 3-ring binders of save files to, like, swap in when we want to replay a specific section. Like, this is what we're doing. It's not hacking, but it's a stone's throw away.
That's actually another reason why I'm trying to like, I just haven't finished it, but like I was working on this playthrough of Origins where it's like I have the exact upgrades, I have all the gear that's in the game, like so I'm only throwing away duplicates, but I'm keeping all the important ones from missions and stuff, so I can always equip them and play with them with the faction stuff. And then I go into New Game Plus, and New Game Plus is when I save like every other mission. So I'm like, oh, I can replay this, I can replay that, with this already fully established build of Bayek.
That's actually really sick. I need to do that.
Yeah, so like, because the issue when I do it, if I do it during the first playthrough, is like, oh, I'm level 5 this mission, I don't have this tool or that tool.
Yeah,
or this
so
weapon.
like you're limited in your creativity.
Exactly. I don't know what New Game Plus looks like. I don't know if they like level up the enemies or anything like that, but like apparently Nightmare Mode is Nightmare Mode again anyway, so I don't think it would have affected how my playthrough is going.
Yeah, they do level the enemies and they like scale them to you. In Origins at least. In Odyssey I haven't tried New Game Plus. Like I look at it and I'm like, why is this fun? Like where is the fun here? Like why would I want to do something like this? And it's not even like it's not an exaggeration, like I genuinely feel that way. Cause it's like I would like to play New Game Plus in Odyssey. I really would, but there's just nothing there that draws me. Like in Origins, getting different skills like could actually change like the way you play and stuff. Whereas in Odyssey, getting different skills, like it's not gonna make that much of a difference, honestly, because the game is so massive that by the time, at least for a player like me, by the time you unlock like all your abilities, you still have like half the map to finish. And so like you get tired of using them because there's just no additional, like things. Like, I mean, I'm fucking replaying DMC5 now. I just unlocked Hardway during this session and I'm like, yo, I want to see like how I can rush enemies down with this. Like, this is cool. I already go into that like curious and like testing mindset. And like AC Odyssey doesn't have anything like that. The only reason I can think of to do NG Plus is for some of the early main missions when I didn't have certain abilities to like use them there and see how they change and stuff like that. But other than that, yeah, I don't know. I'm really hoping the Atlantis DLC is actually fun and has some cool mission design, but I'm not holding my breath. Like, they haven't impressed me with Legacy of the First Blade that much.
So I haven't been following Odyssey, like I haven't beaten it or anything, like I've just sort of zoned out of this game.
Yeah.
But like, so Legacy of the First Blade, I believe? Legacy of the First Blade?
Yeah.
So like, is the Atlantis DLC exactly like that? Like, it's going to be in 3 parts, and it has like episodic?
Yes, it's gonna be like that. 3 parts episodic. It is said to take place in an entirely like new area of the game. So like, thank goodness. I am looking forward to that. That's value.
I don't know how fantasy Odyssey gets, but like to me this just sounds like it's straight up now going into like a complete different genre as a narrative.
And then they're like, oh, we have to make an AC game. Okay, whatever. Like, the Apple did it.
I mean, it's been a while, but like, just thinking, oh, I wanted to go back into Assassin's Creed Origins because this game looks really, I remember loving this game, and then just hearing like the DLC doesn't explain how there's mummies teleporting everywhere, killing civilians, and then disappearing after big battles. Them, just like that kind of stuff, just like it gets to me. I don't know.
It does, especially because AC started out as a series that like really valued diegetics. Like, everything was explained. There was a reason for everything.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
how
like
the first game was.
And it's funny, like, I think that's part of why I really like Capcom game design, because Capcom takes it in kind of like the sibling strand of that, like in the parallel direction, where AC used to make everything matter in world, like in narrative, whereas Capcom makes everything matter in gameplay. So like every item matters. It has a function, it has a purpose, there's a reason it's there. Every weapon, there's a reason it's there. Every player tool, like there's a reason it's in the game. And you can either derive meaning narratively the way AC used to and like fails to do so now, or mechanically, which is how Capcom does it. And it's like in an ideal world, you get to play a game that is like both. And AC like scraped that at times, but it never managed to actually do it. Yeah, same thing. Like the reason I really like Carsey's, no damage Resident Evil runs is because he mentions all of these like crazy techs and tactics that like on a normal playthrough you just don't need to worry about. But he does like this really simple thing where when he's, on his Leon A run, when he's like moving through to the sewers where like all the dogs are and shit, like when he's crossing, and same thing with the Claire run, he actually like stays behind fences and like shoots them through the chain link fences, because that way he can create space and stay safe, and then if the dog gets through the door, he'll actually just put another fence between him and the dog to get another chance to shoot it. And he mentions if you hit it with the first bullet, then you can finish the rest of your, bullet combo, because the first bullet applies stun, and then you can just like finish him off. So all you need to do is land that one shot, and you only have like a certain number of fences to do it with. But then, and it's like if you take a hit, like you lose the run, right? So you have, it's fucking crazy. Like, I love that shit.
Yeah, that shit's amazing.
Like, that's...
honestly, it's like, it sounds like speedruns, right? Where it's like, you have 0% speedruns where like, people who never watch speedruns, they watch these guys do these, cheating techniques and stuff, and they're just like, this looks, like, this takes no skill, this is dumb. But like, people who play the game, they look at the game, they look at these speedruns and just like, this is mind-blowing.
Yeah, like, how the fuck did you figure this out, right? Like...
Yeah. Like, how do you know where to go? Like, you see people glitching through the wall, and they're looking at the ground, so they can't see anything, but they're running a certain direction straight to, the boss or something. It's like, how do you even know where you're going? Like, that takes practice, that takes, knowledge and timing and patience to get it right.
It's weird. Like, when you watch a glitchless run, the dude is still going to take as many advantages as he can get. It's just that the way it manifests in that kind of run is like complete mastery of the most powerful and like effective and cheapest tools.
Yeah, like, I watch like, say a Bloodborne speedrun, and like, everyone is doing the same technique to like Father Gascoigne, where it's like, oh, 3 hit, he's down, time to throw the Molotov cocktails and stuff like that. It's like like spam that and then hit it one more time. It's like you
oh
guys
yeah, like when they're fucking counting their actions. Like, I was watching one dude and he was fighting Bloodstarved Beast, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna throw a pungent blood cocktail in the corner, and then we do 2 charged R2s and then 3 R1s, yes, and an L1 and then 2 more L1s, and he should be dead, and then he fucking dies, and I'm like, how?
Like, that stuff is insane.
Like, when they're counting their actions, like, in real time, because, like, they know exactly what's gonna happen, that's stupid. I love it. I'm getting used to, like, games being super long and shit, and I'm like, well, that's fine, and it has its place, and, there's value and worth in that, but there's really something to be said for those, like, shorter experiences that have care in every detail. And as time goes on, like, I really am starting to love those more and more. And I'm hoping that some of my favorite games take cues from that.
Like, we're as we get older, like, I don't know how it is for you, but like, I'm starting to not have as much time as I can for video games.
Same.
So, Farlander mentioned before, where it's like, you want value, that time is a huge value for gamers. And while I do play a lot of multiplayer games that, leave me up at nights for like 10 hours at a time for a session or something like that, like, when I play a single player game, I really value just having that tight, short experience that just brings a lot of value to me. And you know what, like, chances are I'll probably play Devil May Cry 5 for hundreds and hundreds of hours, even though it's a short game, just because there was so much care and effort put into the experience of replaying it. And like, I feel like replaying a game has a lot more value than people understand. Like,
yes,
a lot
yes.
of people see it as like, you
entire
played this
life.
game already, why play it again, right? But there's actually so much value in replaying it. Like, we look at stealth games like Assassin's Creed, like, yeah, you want to replay. You should. They should be making Assassin's Creed replayable, more
Yes,
replayable than it
because
has
dude,
been.
it's so much fun to like go through an area and then like you've mastered it and then like you play it again and you can put together like this insane active choreography. It's like there is something really cool about it's like you're getting extra gameplay and you're getting extra content because you're able to play it and try to like play to your apex kind of. Yeah, that's a feeling like that is pretty much all I want for Assassin's Creed. Like make the game shorter, make them have less filler, more care put into them, give us reasons to replay the same content rather than because here's the thing also, if the way you provide longevity is by copy pasting a bunch of camps, then arguably that's actually much worse than having a shorter game that, you know, is more approachable and easy to replay. Cause it's like you're not actually gaining anything extra. Like and when I say copy paste, like this is not hyperbole, and it's something I think people don't really understand as much. But in AC Odyssey, there are certain camps, like certain, you know, weak or level 1 outposts, where, and by level 1 I don't mean like numerically, I just mean like how small they are, that are literally copy pasted, even down to their like treasure chest locations. So like I've done one and then I've walked into the same one and I'm like, wait a minute, like I've recognized the exact same layout. And that's not like why is that a thing? Like wouldn't you gain more by just having that camp layout appear once and, you know, instead of having 200 camps, maybe you only have like 150, right? That's fine. Like
Yeah,
that's so much better in my opinion.
I feel like if a game is smaller too, like if Assassin's Creed was, you know, smaller, tighter, more impactful kind of, it's like a person can watch a person play a game and be like, oh, this is how you should do this camp because it's memorable. Now everything's more memorable, everything is familiar. You can be like, here, let me show you how to do this camp easier, or
Right,
here's some tip for
exactly.
this part of the game, here's a tip for this mission, you know, things like that. Like you can really put a bring a community better together instead of saying, instead of like you go on the subreddit right now, you're like, oh yeah, if you want to get better at Odyssey, do this build, or you know, just change these numbers to, you know, improve it. And it's like,
Yeah, exactly. And it's really weird. Like I did like a salvo of Odyssey videos when the game first came out, and they got a lot of views. But when I look at the game now, I can't fathom making any more videos. Like this one gets, you know, a lot of attention and people really enjoy it. But ultimately, it's like I feel like I'm showcasing the game kind of in its best possible incarnation with something like that. And it's not as practical and it's not as feasible. It's basically me showing you can play this way, but you know, you're not necessarily going to do it in a way. And that really kind of like bums me out cuz yeah, I've always liked to represent games as like, you know, the most of what they can be. But with Odyssey, it almost feels like lying. It almost feels like disingenuous because it's so impractical that like, when are you going to build this way and execute everything like that without any issues? Because again, you can't replay these locations. You only have one shot at them. Unless you want to be that guy that like makes a save and then replays it. But in an RPG, that's really annoying because you lose your progression. Whereas like in AC, you know, you can go back and replay a mission and it's fine. You still have all your gear and shit from the later missions. And I feel like New Game Plus is not an adequate like response to that lack because it doesn't work the same way. Like I
yeah,
don't know. It's hard to explain.
it's a big open road. You can't. It doesn't allow you to have that same, like in the Dark Souls, like there's no, you know, save, there's no replayability, but because the game is compact enough and it's tight enough and it's short enough that you're constantly replaying it anyway. Compared to Odyssey, it's like it's just too long, too long stretches. Actually, this is kind of one of my criticism for God of War, which is like the God of War is it's fantastic. I love the game,
On the
and like,
first run, yeah.
but like trying to replay the game, I feel like it just does itself service to service with how slow it can be. And like how the enemies spread out and stuff, like it's like and how familiar they are, so like the game doesn't function as well as like there's only one God of War player, right? Basically, like on the internet, like you can say GBG, whatever his name was. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of him, but the game as an action game isn't really as good as a lot of
Like
like
he
platinum
carries
stuff.
that game on his back.
Yeah.
Like he makes that game look good as fuck, but it's all him. Like literally it's all him.
Yeah, like, cause you can go like on the internet, you be like, oh, this guy's a Nero player, this guy's a Dante player, this guy's a Bayonetta player, and stuff like that. But like, there's no Cradle player, right? Kratos player. So it's like, except for this one person, it's like, I feel like the next God of War, that's something they could address to make it better. But like, yeah, like God of War has that issue too, where it's like it served that experience, and it's like, I'm not using it to diss on a game, but I'm using it to show like that, you know, if a game's too long and it's like
It
like
becomes
building
painful
a
to
game,
re-experience, yeah.
yeah, like when you make a game from beginning to end, I feel like that whole experience should be considered like, what is it like to be rushing through this game to the ending and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And of course, I know it's like a small breed of players is going to take advantage of that, but like those small breed of players is very important.
They'll appreciate it. They'll show you like respect and props for that. And I mean, like, you're right, because the thing you said about replaying games, a lot of the times replaying a game is actually more fun than experiencing it for the first time. And it's like, it's fun in a different way, but until I replay a game, I don't consider my experience of it complete.